afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mrs. Jones. Welcome to Ladies Wot Pod, episode 10. Episode 10. Into double figures. I can hardly believe it. And thank you, everybody who has stuck with us and those who have discovered us now. We're on new platforms, I believe. Right, so you can take us to the gym, which would be marvellous because then we don't have to go. I think that's how it works, is it not? So if you could all do that,
I'm feeling fitter already, thanks to you lot.
We should be fit as much as dog by the end of a week. So take us to the gym and Spotify. And what other platforms are we on, Mrs. J?
Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Audible, we're on Amazon Music. We're on them
everywhere.
all.
World domination for the Ladies Wot.
World domination. And of course, our old friend, for those of you who joined us from the start on YouTube, we're on YouTube. So thank you to everybody.
I am Liz Saunders, and I live in South Northamptonshire and I'm a season ticket holder for Saints, have been for many years. And my co-conspirator, my other Lady Wot, is Mrs. Jones. Would you like to, and for new people, tell them about yourself?
Well, indeed, Claire Jones. I am also a season ticket holder, which drives my husband around the twist because I'm actually the club photographer as well. So usually he's got an empty seat next to him, but, you know, it's a long story. And I wear a red hat. I'm famed for wearing a red hat, which is what most people know. And these days I'm also wearing a red coat, thanks to Lizzie Goodchild. So you can probably see me from outer space.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's, and I live in Cambridgeshire. And been like Liz, been watching the Saints since forever, the 1980s. So been around a bit.
The year dot. So Friday night lights. We had high hopes that it was going to be a good game. Bayonne had put Racing to the sword, I believe, and you know are they eighth? In the Pro 14, somewhere like that.
They're in mid-table in the top 14.
So, you know, it looked like it was going to be okay, going to be fun. It was fun. Not for Bayonne, though. They bless them. I don't know where they were, really. There were bodies on the pitch, but I don't think they knew where they were. Have said that, I have been to many a European game where I've watched a game similar to that. But it's not been us scoring the 61 points. It's been us being delighted when we've won a penalty or when we've gone, oh, that's it, we're not going to be nilled. So it was an absolute pleasure. My heart did go out to the Bayonne supporters who kept going till the bitter end. There were a noisy nuisance in the South Stand, half a dozen of them, and great. It was good to see, but poor old Bayonne. I noticed they came out really early for the second half. I think they just want it over and done with. Can we just please, just get on? Let's not mess around.
Just stop the pain.
Yeah. So, because we just went berserk, I think. You know, I've been asking, pleading, please stop with this last minute stuff and my blood pressure and heart and everything. So they did. The blood pressure machine's just there now. It's just redundant for the moment.
Oh, I don't know. Don't
for the moment. For the moment, it's still here. I will just say.
For the moment, yeah. We've got
big
games.
Still here, but it's folded up neatly. You notice.
Oh, thank good. No,
I mean, God only knows what might happen on Saturday. So it started with a little vignette between me and the hooker, didn't it? Really, when I nearly got mugged.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I thought it was going to end. I thought it was going to end up very badly.
It could have been nasty.
Yes,
it could have been nasty.
It could have been very nasty for the hooker. That is.
It was my tea. Yes. So
yes. So it all began when Curtis came over. He's holding your pikelet boxes to ransom.
He is, for some reason.
Give her her pikelet boxes back. You're not getting any more pikelets, and you give her the boxes back.
Yeah.
And then outrageously spotted your pasty and nearly had it on his toes with it.
Yeah. Oh, you bought me a pasty? No, I haven't. Oh, are you sure? No, I'm absolutely sure I haven't. That's my tea. Back off. Or words to that effect. Shouldn't you be warming up or something? Not with a pasty in your shorts. That's not going to work. Oh, it's going to help, is it? Anyway, off he trotted.
Yes, Curtis had a bit of an evening.
He did
But
have
more of
a
that
very
shortly.
much of a nearly evening, didn't he? Bless him. So yes, that's how it started.
Yeah,
And
he played very well.
he did play very.
It went uphill, fortunately. We improved from there.
Pasty
So it was an incredibly fast start.
ridiculous.
Oh my Lord! So we'd barely been going a minute, and we'd scored the first try.
Yeah.
And I was really chuffed because I got that sumptuous chip kick from
That was
Rory Hutchinson
beautiful. Beautiful. Just
sumptuous it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely sumptuous.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What I didn't get was Primo hurtling towards me. I should have got it, but my camera did something very bizarre, and I haven't been able to make it do it again. So that slightly worries me that there's a gremlin waiting for the next time.
What did it do then?
Not happy about that. It decided that, I know you want me to focus and you want me to work in shutter mode, but I'm going to switch to aperture mode and I'm not going to focus. It's like, very weird.
I think I used to be like that in
very
physics,
strange.
to be honest. I think that's probably not going to focus.
For those of you, that was the Z8. For the rest of the evening, though, it worked like a dream. Absolute dream. We'll talk about that in Photography Corner. So that first try, you thought, oh, okay, the work on this week was don't have a slow start. And okay, we've ticked that box. Yeah. But then we kept going.
We did.
We just kept flipping going.
Relentless.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Utterly relentless. And the RollsRoyce
purred. It purred. I think Colsey, reading of Bayonne's line out that they couldn't read themselves, but he could see where it was going. And the way he tapped that down to Pearson coming through, I was going to say, like a bullet train, like a Japanese bullet train he came through. So not even like a freight train. It was faster than that. Just, whoa, coming through.
They were not
going to be
coming
stopped.
through, and brilliant, utterly brilliant. And so Pearson had an outstanding game. Curtis's try was a pile of bodies.
Yes.
I'd like to actually. There's one thing I haven't done. Is like shout out to Mike Adamson, who had his photo taken with Charlie, the young lad who won a competition. He's got a brain tumor.
Oh, and yes.
And he's been working with the foundation, and it was lovely to see. Adam Gums took the photos, but well done, Mike. Got involved because normally it's the referee that picks up the ball and runs out with it. But Mike actually, Charlie picked it up and handed it to Mike, and Mike got involved in the photos. So that was lovely to see. Lovely, really lovely to see.
Yeah. I thought that the ref. I mean, you didn't know he was there, really. I thought he refed it. I thought, you imagine he was fairly exhausted by the end of it. Not again.
Yeah, and slightly bewildered. I didn't know why they chalked off the second try. That seemed a bit harsh.
It did seem a bit harsh.
We think he might have knocked on. I thought it was supposed to be for howlers.
That was a bit nitpicky.
But
poor old Curtis nearly scored a try. Nearly got a pasty. Nearly scored a try at that point. Wasn't going well.
So he was not having a great day by that time.
No.
But I think the thing that you and I talked about before we before we started recording was this team are having a bucket load of fun.
Yeah. Again, as I said,
they are loving what they're doing.
They are not lifting the pressure at all. I mean, as I say, I have watched teams play like this up and down Europe, in many parts of France and Ireland. Usually we're the ones struggling for the 14 points. But I've never seen a team having as much fun as they slaughtered us, as those boys out there. And they talk about it themselves, the close relationships they have off the field, and it really does come through that they are a team. Absolutely a complete, and everybody is in the team.
A team.
It's,
yes.
Because the ones who are injured when they come back in, they're having a lot of fun. Yeah. So
yeah, and they're still involved. I mean, as you can see from the post-match stuff.
Yeah.
Even some of the players who aren't playing through injury are still involved and are still, So it's a lot of lads having a really good time playing some fantastic rugby. If we were going to, there's some names that you don't always hear.
Yeah.
That I think I'd like to mention. So one of them is Big Trev.
Big Trev.
Trevor Davison. Yeah, Big Trev. Been with us just about a season now.
I think so, yes.
Came down from Newcastle. Charming man. Very shy.
Oh.
But just barreling around the park.
He was just everywhere. He was just,
everywhere. I mean, that second half drive when he made about 10, 15 metres, outrageous.
When we came home and watched it back,
really
you could really see that Trev was just doing the hard yards, the sort of unglamorous bits, but he was really good, really, lovely, solid prop. So yes, and who was it?
And the Dingers,
Hutch and Dingers,
Dingers and Hutch,
Dingers
and Hutch. I mean,
as I said in my witterings last week, sounds like a dodgy 70s cop duo. Dingers and Hutch. But yeah.
Dingers
and Hutch. But they're a superb partnership in the centre, I think. They, again, know how each other breathes, don't they? They've... although Hutch is quite old now, isn't he? I believe. Is he about nearly 27? Quite old.
Yeah. Well, seriously.
Compared with the others.
Talking of players who are slightly older, Courts, of course. And thank God he got his try.
Yes.
After my shambles in Glasgow, when I dropped a somewhat soggy camera into my lap rather than taking photographs of the first try in 5 years. I was quite glad we didn't have to wait another 5 years for the next one.
Yeah.
And it was a thing of beauty. Started by, that'll be Mr. Hutchinson, and then Mr. Dingwall, and then Mr. Hutchinson.
Yes.
Brilliant.
No, it's lovely to see you.
Absolutely brilliant.
So he scored 3 tries this season, which is almost as much as he scored in his whole career before then, isn't it? Sorry, Courtney. You won't be watching.
I mean, seriously, man, you're doing well.
Yeah, just carry on, Courtney. It's grand. I'm glad you found the whitewash. Just keep going.
Yes, it's that stripy bit, at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
where you usually...
I think it was frowned upon.
I was going to say, not where you usually stand trying to annoy the opposition with Mr. Furbank, as you did at Glasgow. Yeah. That's not what it's for.
No. I was going to say, I think forward scoring tries was frowned upon under a previous regime, I suspect. But no, to be encouraged.
Well, not unless it was a rolling mole.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking of which,
yes.
Forward scoring tries. So Curtis did go on to get a try, didn't he? And Alex Waller,
he
2
did.
tries Waller. I believe by the final whistle, they were each started from somewhere beyond the try line, possibly the lake, the one he scored at the other end, and so the back of the bar for the
car
other one. Yeah. But yes,
I knew it was coming. I mean, when they went for the quick tap penalty, I thought, wait for it, because he did it once before against Leicester.
Yes,
and I ribbed him that he didn't look. I said, "You didn't look for the hat. It's all really waving this, but you're not looking for the hat." So this time he didn't let me down.
Yeah.
Well, Al looked for the hat, and he absolutely. I mean, I was what we call in the trade pixel peeping. His eyes are perfectly focus, which is what I want. I don't want his finger, I want his eyes, and perfectly in focus. So I was very chuffed at that, and the delight in his eyes is just beautiful. It really is.
Yeah.
So well done.
I think he's enjoying it again. He's enjoying
on the other side. Only he didn't wave his finger that time.
No.
Yeah, he is, and played really, really well on Friday. Looked like he was having a good time. It was great to see Manny run out because Manny's had his injury challenges, so. A few more minutes on the clock for Manny, which is great. Very good to see. And Elliot Millar-Mills.
Never lets us down, does he? Never lets us down.
No, he doesn't. Trundles about the place doing his stuff.
Just being a doodaloo. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
George.
That if you were close to him, you wouldn't hear him sort of going. It strikes me as being that sort of a person. Do you know what I mean? Some people are like that.
Yeah, you can imagine that. Yeah, you can imagine that. Very Swedish chef, I have to say.
Yes. Yeah.
We should also congratulate Jean Augustus on his 50th cap.
Yeah.
Again, great to see him back out.
Yeah.
And now with a white scrum cap. White is obviously the thing to have because Curtis has got a white one as well.
Well, I mean, he was doing his trucking bit a few times. Good to see. Yeah. And did we actually say Tom? Have we completely ignored Tom Pearson's hat trick? You know.
Well, I was going to save him because the huge surprise at the end of the game was why TNT didn't give him man of the match. They actually put the stats up for. They've got this table of stats that they have in front of them, so they cheat. In other words, it's not how the impression they get. And if you look at Fremo's stats, he's all the things they measure. You know, the blobs were all on his name. Yeah, so they were going. Well, there's the guy with the most blobs. We'll pick him. Which means a man who got a hat trick and a really good hat trick. I mean, that try in front of the churches was a thing of beauty. Utter beauty. We should absolutely Fremo's playing well, Tom Pearson's playing well, but they're getting lots of mentions. Your big Trevs.
Well, he needs to change.
Elliot Miller Mills don't get the mentions.
They need to change the name to Tom, obviously, because
we have got quite a few of those.
We've got
of course, Tom James coming back. He looks like a man,
and he scored. And even for Bayonne, they had to have a Tom to score because Thomas Spring.
Yeah, Tom Spring. Yeah.
So you just think, okay.
Yeah, you've got to be called Tom. I thought Sergeant Wilson. Sorry, George Furbank had his. I watched him when he was having the conversation about why isn't that a penalty try, sir. He was like, "Wouldn't you mind awfully?" Considering it.
Possibly take another look, sir. If it's not too much trouble. See what I mean?
He is. He is. He's Sergeant Wilson. Yeah. He's brilliant.
For any young people watching, that's Dad's Army. You need to go and watch it on YouTube.
Watch repeats on BBC
Two. It's always on, repeats on BBC Two, but you'll see Sergeant, as if there's young people watching this. Yeah.
Chandler Mesurier.
Yeah. Charming man.
Charming man, yes. And utterly George. So, So, again, another win for George. He's collecting them.
Yeah.
Absolutely collecting. And again, he set the tone. Yeah, he kept going. Yeah, he kept going. They got a couple of tries. I'm sure the second one, I've watched it twice now because it was annoying me. I'm sure he's in front of the kicker, but we won't worry about it.
Yeah, really doesn't matter, does it?
Hey. Which means, amazingly, after 3 games, we are already in the round of 16 with the home game. It's like,
we've got a big queue. There's only one other team with a big queue, isn't there?
Oh, I think there's a couple.
There's a couple now. There's not many, is there?
I think Exeter have got a queue as well.
No, they've got a small queue. So
I thought they had a big queue.
No, they've only got a small queue.
Oh, they've only got a small queue.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So they can be caught up, can they? Oh.
Yeah, Munster could still catch them.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, more of that shortly. So we've got a home game in the round of 16, which is fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the trip to Limerick shortly, but everything's still up for grabs. Because, the next game could determine whether we have a home quarter final, which would be amazing, given where we were last season.
Yes.
Well, we have to mention. Let's keep going with poor old Curtis. Curtis even.
Curtis
and a certain TV cameraman.
Oh dear me.
You were done like a kipper, mate.
It was
done like a kipper.
Stitched up. I'd be thinking to sue, actually. Yeah. He thought. Everybody thought
he got player of the match. And, he wanted that cuddly zebra, didn't he? That's what he was after.
Sure, if he asked Fremo, he could have had it.
I'm sure.
He's got one already.
Yeah, but he'd already been turned down for the pasty. I don't think he could take the rejection again. Yes. So a poor old Curtis, and the delight amongst the players was just great fun to see.
It was.
Courtney roaring with laughter
Yeah.
at the misfortune of his colleague, who didn't win Player of the Match
No.
because the outstanding Tommy Freeman did. Talking of players of the match, come on then,
Yeah.
Liz. Who are you going for?
Well, obviously, you have to consider Curtis because if only for, but you wouldn't want to get it on a pity vote, would you? So, but I thought he played exceptionally well. Just doing Curtis stuff, which is high energy lunacy stuff, was brilliant. On my list, so Big Trev was up there because, say, doing the hard yards, doing the unglamorous, not sparkly stuff. That means the others can do the unglamorous, sparkly stuff. But then I think, Tom Pearson, he got a hat trick. He's playing his heart out. He has adopted us so well. So, with notable mentions for just about everybody else, I think Tom Pearson. I think.
And I would agree with you. My notable mention would be Alex Coles.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. He had a good game.
Alex Coles
so hard
is
because the minute you go on, but then Mitch played pretty well as well, and then
Mitch played very well. Very well. Tamo played very well. They all played.
They all played.
We're now starting to sound like we're going for another sitcom. You've all done very well.
Well, that's the thing, because they're playing so much as a team. They are all playing on an equal level, and it's that you can't get a cigarette paper between them, really. Young people, you'd know what cigarette papers are. Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, really hard.
But I think the choice of Tom. I'm with you all the way on the choice of Tom Pearson. I think he's embraced this pace of rugby, this style of rugby, and it's playing absolutely into his sweet spot. So, so well done. Tom Pearson is the Ladies Wot Pod player of the match for Bayonne.
And don't worry, you won't be getting a cuddly zebra.
No, we haven't got any cuddly zebras.
No, you just get a mention.
No. Photography corner. Well, there's fairly obvious photographs. So I've talked about Alex Waller's fantastic try celebration. Always love a good try celebration. Courtney's try. I'm just so relief that I actually managed to get it. Yes. Post game in the changing room.
Yeah,
I wandered up the other end. So I mentioned last week that I was getting a bit of same old. So whilst Lewis was doing his twirling round in the middle, doing his video, I went up the other end to right by the room where the S&C and medics are busily doing what they do, and then just watched the scene as everyone gently came back from talking to the supporters and family and handing out the balls and all the rest of it. And I think it worked really well. It worked really well because, well done, Mr. Freeman. You went with the wide arm. I do like a wide arm.
Wide arm
it does work very well.
Yes.
Wide arm lead in and all that business.
He does ham it up.
That works very well.
He? Yeah.
He does ham it up completely.
Yeah, it's got to be done.
And fair dues. Nominate. So I think people are a bit confused as to who gets to lead. You are nominated by the captain. So Joanno and Fremo were nominated by the captain. Normally there's a reason associated with it. I think in this case it was because Fremo's Fremo and he was player of the match, and Joanno was back from...
And it's his 50th cap.
I think for his 50th cap. And I know they didn't mention the 50th cap. There was some reason, but anyway, Joanno, bashed his boot the way they do. I have to say, the backs hide behind a pillar. There's a pillar in a really awkward place.
Yes.
It's like a little corner of Finn Smith and Alex Mitchell and Rory, all behind their pillar. So I'm still not entirely convinced. And also, you end up with the backs of the players because they're all facing the front.
Yes.
So I'm still not entirely. But I've got some different angles. But it's great fun shooting. It's a privilege to be, watching these guys have so much fun. Because they are, and Dowse is giving his boot, but his poor boots must go through hell, we don't worry about the locker doors. I think their footwear must, So it was great fun. Well, yes. The other thing there seems to be some confusion about is the crest in the middle. And I noticed there was somebody talking about the shirts. Did you notice the shirt?
Yes.
Which shirts were on the crest?
Yes.
And it was Sue Waller's and
Courts.
and Big Courts. Well, that's because they were the first to take their shirts off. There's no more
Just coincidence. It wasn't
that.
Just happened to reflect
Just
the
coincidence. Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit weird, that one. So there is nothing. The rule about, which is great fun for me because I end up sort of dancing around it, is you have to be in studs to stand on it.
Yeah.
You have to be in boots. So I found myself sort of, dodging round, trying to avoid it. But that's the rule. So, and they are a team of many rituals and rules. So it works for them. And they do what they like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Long may it last.
Media watch.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Long may it last. Media watch. Well, it all went a bit mad last week, didn't it?
It did a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Not used to
it. Did a bit. We had. We're not used to this. So yes, lots of coaches on podcasts, players on podcasts. So Alex Mitchell. He looked like the minister had been sent out to talk on behalf of the government because he appeared on
scandal.
the BBC's. He appeared on the Rugby. I think he was on the Rugby Union Weekly. He was on somewhere, and he was also on our dear friends again
in America.
The Rugby Union, what are they called? The Rugby Union Network in the States, ERN.
Yes.
It was a really nice interview and a really good podcast. So well done, Alex Corbusiero and our dear friend Will Hooley. That's for those of you who don't know, look out the guys. They do a good podcast every week talking about American rugby and particularly college rugby. Not something that I've much understanding of, but it's good to see. Look East. Well, Look East after Exeter had Sam Vesti. So, of course, we did an early recording last week.
Yeah.
And, so Sam appeared on Look East and talked about all things Exeter.
Yeah.
This week.
We were an afterthought.
Yeah. We're an afterthought again. It only lasted a week.
Yeah.
It only lasted a week. But TNT clearly love us. Orla, bless her.
Oh, yes.
And
she wants to be there every week.
She's been to the 5 times. Yeah, she'd be there every week. So that's good. And Chris Ashton seems to have realised where he is now. He he actually said he likes watching rugby. Because it's the best ground in England. So why wouldn't you?
He's always known that. Truth be told, so he just couldn't confess.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Brian O'Driscoll talking very fondly of us as well.
I know what's going on. Yes, I mean it's great because the guys are getting the plaudits that they deserve. It's not mealy-mouthed. It's absolutely spot on. Listening to Benjamin Kaiser, former Tiger.
Yeah,
a man of the best gloves on TV.
Oh yes, very yellow.
Very yellow. His emoji gloves. It's really lovely that there's a number of things. One is the players are getting the plaudits they deserve. The coaches are getting plaudits they deserve. But all those relationships, as we've said before, all that appearing in newspapers and because Freemo was in the Times. All that media stuff comes from the hard work of Jack Miller's team. So, well done to Jack and Liz and Tom and Bill and Bobby. Absolutely. It's our blooming work getting, as we've talked about on this pod many times, getting the attention that the club deserves. And so they deserve, plaudits. And well done to my dear friend Lewis, who does all that wonderful video. So if you see Lewis with his little camera running around, and of course he does the Shoe Army song, he takes some utterly brilliant stuff. And we are very lucky. We are blessed with a great media team, and Good stuff.
And it's
Good
paying
stuff. So,
dividends with the engagement as well, as we saw. We'll talk about it later. The Pine Saint Supporters Forum last night, Pie Night. They put a slide up about the engagement on social media when we put something in. We're right up there with all the French clubs who have thousands and thousands of followers, but we seem to get the engagement. So that's really, really good work that they've done. Media team.
Yeah, and they work incredibly hard. So
and they're very delightful people as well, aren't they? I think they're very lovely people.
Oh, they're great fun to work with. They're great fun, and absolutely, their hearts are in the right place. They love the club, great bunch to work with. It's Jack and Liz, as I say, Jack, Liz, Tom, and they are a fantastic team, and we are reaping the rewards off the back of it.
Yeah.
So media, keep going. You're doing all right. You've improved, but don't stop now. Yeah. Loughborough. So the coming back after
going down.
Nathan Smith clearly went into his coaching, last week and said, right, what we've got to do is we've got to go a long way behind and then come roaring back.
Yes.
And then catch up and win it. And Rachel Malcolm and her team took it on board, and that's exactly what they did. Yes. 19-0 down, and you think, oh, well, here we go. But no! And it's at the Stoop. The Quinn, to win against Quinns at the Stoop
is really impressive.
Mega.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive. Shauna Brown careering all over the place, and I think she scored or she set somebody else up to score. So, they are well done to the Loughborough. I'm so cross I can't see them. I can't be in two places at once because I'd love to have seen that game.
Yeah.
Fifth in the table, but on a roll. Playing Trailfinders this weekend, so it'd be really interesting to see how they get on.
That's at the Gardens, isn't it?
But I believe so. Yeah.
For those of us not going to Munster.
Indeed. You see some cracking rugby from a team, growing in confidence all the time. Of course. And women's rugby today had a big announcement
huge shot in the arm.
Huge announcement. British and Irish Lions tour in 2027, 5. What is it? I can't remember. It's going to New Zealand anyway.
Is it in between the men's tours, isn't it? So it'd be 20.
Yeah, I think it's in between the men's. Yes, yeah. I think. But brilliant news.
Yeah.
But of course, the big news of the week.
Big news. Toaster under nines. We went. Last because they were playing when we spoke last week, and they were playing Oni, and they may or may not have won. I couldn't really make much sense, but he had a wonderful time, so that was good. We were away at Kettering on Sunday. It was very, very cold. I didn't realise how quiet the roads were at that time of a Sunday morning. I'm not normally up at that time of a Sunday morning, but went over to Kettering. And so I think they won one, drew one and lost one, but Harry is adamant that they won two and lost one. So who am I to argue with a player? And they were playing on the 4G, so bless them. When they went down, because they play sort of tackling, it's the first time at the under-9, so when they got tackled or when they tackled, 4G is not very forgiving. So there were a few of them getting a bit hurt. But yeah, it was good. They played really well. The first two games they played really, really well. And the third game they came at the Kettering side were very, very handy and very big. Very big. So
good. Kettering always put out good teams.
Yeah,
always put out good.
But it was nice to see. It quite took me back to watching my son play at under 9s level against Kettering as well, and friendships that he still has were forged on the minis. So.
Well, while we're talking about Kettering, shall we talk about the sad news that we have?
Well, I was going to say, it was that whilst I was over there that I heard the sad news about Doug Bridgman, who sadly died, I think, on Friday night. Former Saint number 1526. Big rugby man, big in Kettering. He's left a huge whole in the East Midlands rugby family. He was heavily involved in Kettering and the East Midlands, and certainly when my son was playing East Midlands, when Courtney was playing East Midlands age group stuff, Doug and Helen were big in organising that. So really sad. He leaves wife Helen and son and a daughter and grandchildren, and so huge, lovely man, lovely personality, and just through and through rugby man. So condolences to the Bridgman family and to Kettering Rugby and everybody else who knew him. Yeah, such sad news, but
Yeah, well. So, on other news though,
yes,
it's happy birthday to the wheelchair rugby team that is 7 years old today.
Good grief. Gosh.
Yes, 7 years old.
No, I'm not going to sing.
We won't sing. No. Well done to Jamie and the guys. There's a little promotional video that's out and about. Have a listen to them. They've had a roller coaster ride akin to what's happened to the first 15, but they're a lovely bunch. I utterly adore them. I think they're wonderful sport, wonderful coach, wonderful players. Darren Coote, who is Badger, he's had to hand in his wheelchair because of injury, and he needs some. I think he needs some surgery. So last week he stood down as a player. Darren, you go with my very, very best wishes. He was the man that said, "No, Claire, I don't smile." Like, oh, okay, fair enough. So when I got him inanely grinning whilst playing, no, Darren is a great lad. And will be missed. He absolutely will be missed. A wry view of the world at our Darren, and one of the stalwarts of the team that won the Premiership. So good luck, my friend. Don't be a stranger. Come back and see us. But happy birthday to the wheelchair rugby team.
Yes,
brilliant stuff. Last night you were out and about on the Raz. Well, no, not really.
Hardly. Yes, we were.
And you were on TV a lot.
The pie eating night. Saints supporters, Saints season ticket holders forum. Sorry to give it its official title, but you get pie. So we were there, and it was interesting. Some bits more interesting. The pies were very good. The pies were very, very good, actually. There was no veg. We were a bit concerned. We thought they got our health at heart, but obviously not. No veg, just pie and mash. What were they thinking? Very nice.
Was a bit of gravy to go on?
No, there was gravy. Oh, yeah, there was loads of gravy. Right. Yeah. But having said it's such a lovely gesture from the club. Take nothing away from it. It's really good. It's a really good evening. And the questions this year were slightly different. No questions about beer or cues for the beer or the pouring of the beer or anything to do with beer. No questions about beer at all, which I think is an all-time first. No questions about the price of the food. I think we've given up on that, to be honest. But there were some interesting questions that were good, and there were some just interesting questions about, well, if you'd have read the website, you would have known the answer to that. But there we go, And there were some that were just irrelevant. So, which was at one point, I can't remember what question it was, but where I was sitting was in eye line with Ferbs, and this question came from this chap. And we just looked at each other, and it could have gone horribly, horribly giggly at that point. But we managed to not brought it back because it was
very good.
I think that might have been the one about Saracens. Yeah, we know they cheated.
Yes, man with
let it go.
But there's not a great deal we can do.
Nothing the club can do.
Let it go.
We know they cheated. Just let it go. They're karma will happen.
I mean, we could go back to Quins and Bloodgate if we're going to go down that route. Exactly. But anyway,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. these things happen. So,
but there was some fascinating insight, particularly from Mr. Darban.
yes,
I thought the presentation was very interesting
very,
and followed on a theme from his last presentation. He built on what he said, where they're clearly, hence the emphasis on things like social media and publicity and media, and generally, they know they need to build their audience, and it was quite shocking looking at the numbers as regards the Premiership and crowd sizes. That was quite shocking to see that of all the leagues, of all the sports,
the
Gallagher Premiership. Although I think in the last few weeks we've seen it turn for the better.
Yes,
I think people now realise. I think people now realise that the sport is we're playing some absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the other fascinating thing was the one where they had the Gallagher Premiership with the closest matches and most tries. They're all in the Gallagher Premiership. It's highly competitive, and we only have to see, our game against Exeter.
Yeah.
I mean, your machine has been incredibly busy this season, but there are other teams who must have supporters with machines as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But it makes it a fantastic spectacle. It isn't the grind sometimes that you get in the top 14.
No,
no. It is really, really good stuff.
Or the foregone conclusion that you get in the top 14, where if somebody French, they're at the bottom, they're playing one of the top teams. They don't bother. They send 23 assorted bodies who mole around the pitch doing nothing. So I think it's the competitiveness this season of this league is fascinating, and it's, as you say, not
and
just
it's
us.
Really tight at the top.
Really
tight at the
top. It could, still could all go horribly wrong. Oh, hello. You see, this is why I've gone back to my call centre. Can I help you, Head? Because these are just don't even,
Anyway, I thought Mr. Darban, he's a slick operator. He knows how to keep the audience in his hands. I think I am sad. I don't think we were entirely where I would have liked to have heard when it came to this agreement with the second tier.
No,
I think there were a few things I was uncomfortable with. I get why they didn't talk about it. I get it's difficult. But you and I have talked about our fear for the Championship.
Yeah.
And anyone to ask me as a supporter, I am a season ticket holder, I would say, no, I don't want Worcester or Wasps or London Irish in the Championship until they've earned it.
Absolutely. You can't shoehorn them back in.
So I'm sorry.
Rangers.
Don't shoe them back.
Just to go back, to football, Glasgow Rangers had to go right back down practically to Sunday Park football and work their way back up. I think that's what Saracens should have been made to do, to be honest. But certainly Wasps, Worcester, London Irish, definitely they've got to. It's not the players' fault, but you can't just come back in because you're going to be raiding players from somewhere else.
And nothing about those three clubs says they're viable, whereas in the Championship, it's got its challenges, but your Coventrys, your Doncasters, your Bredford Blues, they are viable clubs working, busting a gut to play some great rugby that we've talked about several times, and that's where the focus should be, but it doesn't appear that way. And so last night I was a bit...
it needs to be...
I thought Dowse's comments about Bedford were good, but...
Yes, and I think he's coming from a different place.
Missing a few bits.
Yeah. But it's...
Because he's coming from a different place,
There needs to be, I was going to say, to use government speak, which is bloody meaningless, I know, but levelling up. But they do, if they were to actually look at making the Championship viable in the way that in France, the second tier is really viable, and, making it so that it is ridiculous, as they said last night, that 4/5 of the teams go, well, we don't want to go up. Even if we've finished top, we're not going up because it's too much of a jump.
Well, that's because the rules for going up are stupid.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely stupid. Demanding stadiums that the sport cannot sustain
Yes.
is just ridiculous.
Pointless.
I mean, if it's in the if you're up and in the next 10 years you need a stadium that holds X, then I get it. But it's not
Overnight, you've got to have a
nonsense.
stadium.
And then so what? Overnight, and you end up with teams in doing a London Welsh and going to Oxford in the Kazam Stadium or whatever it was, which was a soulless, windy, and that didn't end well.
No.
London Irish at Reading, that didn't end well. Wasps at the Rico, that didn't end well. There's a theme here.
There is a theme.
So please, can we? The teams that are doing well that are teams that have the appropriate size stadiums, and so that would be my one bit. There was a comedy moment. I particularly enjoyed Mr. Dowson being told off by Mr. Darban for calling the High Performance Centre the barn.
The barn. Well, on my table.
And then Dowson's riposte of your sign would have been cheaper. If you
that was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I have to say, on my table were walking rugby, fellow walking rugbyists, walkers. I don't know what we call. I need to find out what we will be calling ourselves. And we thought the barn was actually a far better descriptor for the way we play than high performance, because I do suspect that of a Thursday night, the high performance centre is going, no, high performance, oh no, whatever. I'm going to the pub, because really, we have a nice time, but it could, So, that was quite funny. The fact the boys calling at the barn, and nice Sergeant Wilson slightly swearing, describing the rain when it said about
yes. Say it like it is, George.
Yeah. When it's cold and piddling with rain, but he didn't say piddle. Yeah, that was quite entertaining.
No, and it does go horizontal on that pitch too.
Yes.
The elements can whip around there, so it's very exposed. So, in fact, more exposed than the stadium, as you would imagine, slightly stands. Yeah. But so I can understand. And they were obviously in the. I'm going to call it the barn, just because I can.
Yeah, the barn.
They were in the High Performance Centre. The barn.
In the barn.
Today I noticed because
it's bitterly cold out there. Yeah.
I understand from Sherpa 2, Ryan Robinson, that Bedford will be training in the High Performance Centre this week. So, as Mr. Darban said, it's I'm looking forward to the Vitality Blast tickets that are going to be, around, because the Northants guys are training there.
Yes.
If you remember the question, do you remember the question? Yes. Yes. So I don't know what Bedford. I don't know what is Mikey Rayer's wife baking. Mark Darban a cake or something. I don't know if Mrs. Rayer does cakes.
As opposed to
anyway, but they are, as I say,
yes,
they're training there on later in the week. But so brilliant stuff.
I was going to say,
international.
Before then, just about Lewis making his little speech at the end. Which I thought was very brave of him, and really shouldn't have been necessary. But well said, Lewis. He just explained that no decision had been made. Everything was still being talked about, basically. And the poor lad, just give him just get off his back. Just let him make this decision for the best of him and his future. And we'll see where it goes. But the poor chap looked haunted. And I just think,
and
some of the
when
comments,
he made the statement that he's been associated since he was
8. Yeah,
since he was 8. He bleeds black, green, and gold.
Yeah,
and he cares passionately. And I can imagine. You never ask a player about their injury, but you can imagine he's flipping fed up because he wants to be part of, with his mates out there running around doing what Lewis does, which we all want to see. Yeah. Because for a fleeting moment against Quins, we had the back row that we dreamed of. That's nothing against any of the other players.
No.
There's one we forgot to mention, Sammy Graham.
Oh
my God, on Friday, Sammy Graham.
I couldn't forget him. He was on my list as well. I mean, he just never lets us down. In fact, he's growing every blooming game he plays, he just is more imperious. He's just amazing young man, and then goes and collects all the tackle bags and everything afterwards because he'll do anything for Kev. I don't know what Kev's got over him. Does he like? I don't know. It's just Kev frightened him.
I quite like the alternative Mud, Sweat and Tears logo that somebody dubbed. That was quite fun with all the sheep. Very good. Well done, the media team. That was very good. But, you're frozen. Yeah. So I think well done to the club. It's a fantastic initiative that they do it. It's fantastic that they broadcast it, and that they clearly put a lot of effort into it, and it's much appreciated. And fair dues. I mean, the timing's perfect when you're top in Europe, and your group in Europe, you're top in the league. I mean, it's
the question.
One of the less difficult ones to get through.
Yes, it was. And the telling question about Lee Radford and the defence and what does he bring was it's worth going back and listening to that. It says
have a listen to
volumes about Lee Radford and sadly about the previous incumbents as well. But it's a fascinating one. Is that
it was powerful stuff from Dingers.
Yes, it was.
And off the back of some outstanding performances, we've had an international call-up today.
We have. Well deserved. Absolutely. He's worked hard for it, and well played, Rory Hutchinson. And, he's obviously... I mean, his all-round game has improved, because he did always... there was always a habit of Hutch's to go missing for a little while. Sometimes you felt the concentrate a bit too much, but now, no, he puts in the full shift, and his
physicality has gone up.
His defence is huge now, and that ridiculously beautiful kick to put Tom Pearson through for that first try, that alone deserves an international call up.
Just sublime. Just sublime. So congratulations, Rory. He last played for Scotland in that Argentina tour when they played him in the wrong place, and then he got injured. If you remember, he injured his knee. So please, can we play him as a centre this time, Scotland? Come on, Gregor.
Just brilliant.
Not as a fullback.
Yeah, he's not a fullback.
He's just been utterly brilliant. So
he's nothing but a centre. He's
utterly brilliant.
Yeah. So,
and we'll hear more this week
yes,
about England and the like. I'm sure we'll talk about it next week, but congratulations to Rory. Well done. Saint Supporters Club, Liz, how are you doing?
Oh, well, we're doing fine. We are doing fine. We had some new members. So some people had heard about it from the pod, so came along and found us not in a gazebo. We didn't have the gazebo up, but we were in a corner, so that worked well. So we've had some new members, and we are planning to run a coach to Bristol, because we've had enough people say they would take it up. So anybody who wants to go to Bristol, don't fancy driving there and back on a Friday night, watch out for coach news. And we hope to be running coaches to Harlequins, at least 2, because the interest in that seems very high. Again, join the Supporters Club and your coach ticket will be slightly cheaper, and you'll be helping the foundation and the wheelchair guys as well at the end of the season. So
brilliant news.
And we have
strength to strength.
Yeah, and we have sort of other plans. We would like to be involved with doing something with the open day. Not sure whether that will happen. We've got a meeting to have with Mark Darwin about that. But I forgot to mention about the open day that Saints are putting on. That looks like good fun.
Yes.
In the February half term. I've signed up. Got to take 2 grandsons to that. It's going to be fun. So
I remember meeting you at the last one.
Indeed, yes, with them. They're slightly bigger this time. So we are, hopefully going from strength to strength and looking to do stuff. But we're still in talks, and it's baby steps, trying to get back to where we're in a position to be working in a greater partnership with the club. But we are moving in the right direction. So,
Excellent. Well, great work. Keep going. And it sounds like the walking rugby, whatever you're going to call yourselves.
Walking rugbyists. Yes.
Walking rugbyists.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're back, and there was talk of injuries and stretching and all sorts on Friday night.
Somebody did their hamstring. Did their hamstring on Thursday.
Oh,
I know.
I thought you were supposed to be walking.
We are supposed to be walking. Yeah. So that was a bit. I don't know how badly he did it. He just was in some discomfort, I think. Anyway, we'll find. I won't find out on Thursday because I'm doing something else on Thursday. But walking rugby, have a look on the website if you want a good laugh and a surprisingly good workout. Get yourself along. It is you can have. I think there's still the free taster available. Just come along and have a go because it's so much fun. It's very competitive. People get very competitive. Possibly myself might be involved in getting a little over competitive, just a bit. But but it is tremendous fun. And now I feel more relaxed now. I know it's in the barn, not the high performance centre.
You can relax, yes.
Relax.
Yes.
That's the barn. So yeah, but we were a bit concerned. Excellent. We were a bit concerned last week because Bayonne might have wanted to use the high performance centre, and we might not have been able to have the walking rugby there. I don't know where we were going to go because we weren't certainly going to do it outside. But Bayonne saw sense and realised that actually they had to step aside for the old people.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very community spirited of Bayonne.
It was very kind of them. Yes. Yeah. I don't know where they went in the end. I think, yeah. So anyway, well, obviously did
wherever they went, it didn't do them any good.
Considered them no good wherever they went.
Interesting. The opposition have now spotted our high performance centre. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So an exciting couple of weeks ahead of us.
Indeed.
Off to, as I've written here, Minster. I don't know what that's about.
No, I think that's autocorrect because that happened when I was writing my witterings. It went. I've
been spool chucked.
Yeah, yes.
I've been spool chucked. So we're off to Thomond Park.
Yeah,
and I so want to see the lads do a number on Munster at Thomond Park.
If anybody can, we can. Yes. So.
Yeah.
I hope the weather's a bit better than it was last year.
It's forecast to hammer it down with rain.
Oh, is it? That's a surprise.
So I'm going
who would have expected that in Limerick?
Who would have expected on the west coast of Ireland? Yes. Yeah. So I think I'm going to get wet again. But after Glasgow, bring it on is all I can say.
Not so much wet
looking
as
forward
drowning.
to it. Should be a good trip.
Yeah. In the shallow end.
Flying out on Friday.
Yeah.
Flying back on Sunday. So should be a cracking weekend.
Barely a hotel room to be had in Limerick at the weekend. I don't know if there's something else on. It's just so that might be quite.
And also there seems to be an issue with flights. I think some people are having to fly into Cork and then drive.
Yes, yeah.
So
there don't seem to be as many flights as there were this time last year. It's a bit strange, but anyway, we'll see. But have fun.
I'll do my best.
Are you going to go to the restaurant with the robots again?
With the robots? Don't know yet. We're not currently scheduled to, but that's because we're not very organised. Well, we've organised dinner for the first night, and that's it. And then, because of course, it's a late kickoff.
Oh, yes.
So,
For those who wonder what we're talking about, there is a restaurant in Limerick because of the Marco Polo. And the food is really good. Actually, I had some of the best Singapore noodles ever there. It was really nice. So it's a weird fusion of food. But you deliver something like is it R2D2, little one from Star Wars?
It feels a bit R2D2.
Little robot,
a bit more than number 5.
Brings
a robot turns up with your food. Then a human has to come and take it off the robot and give it to you because the robot doesn't know who's ordered what. The robot sort of goes, "Oh, but I haven't got any arms.
I haven't got any arms, and I don't know who's ordered what." So a human has to come and help him out, and then he says, "Thank you," and robot's off, and it's highly entertaining.
Off he trots.
Yeah. No, so
Yes. So I don't know yet. Will we in one of the 27 Flannery's bars, or maybe we'll be in all of the Flannery's bars?
Yeah.
Yes. Graham McKechnie hasn't announced whether he's doing his Friday. I'm going to stand in a bar and talk.
Find people I know and talk to them. So. You mean? Yeah.
Find people I know and talk to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not there.
So I haven't heard that, but it'll be in a Flannery bar because there are many of them.
There
are bound to be one.
There are. Yes.
If he does it. Loughborough, as I said earlier, are off to Trailfinders. So not off to Trailfinders. No, they're off to the Gardens.
Off to the Gardens.
They're at the Gardens hosting Trailfinders. So let's hope Rachel, Malcolm and her team have another fabulous afternoon now.
Yeah.
Bedford
up to
have a tricky trip
to
Doncaster, home of cow pie. I just remember a couple of years ago, Dr. Jones stood on the terrace and he actually went blue. We were a bit worried about him. He went the colour of my jumper.
Oh, good grief.
And then afterwards said, I can't feel my mouth. It was so cold. Yes. So I wish the Blues and the Friends of the Blues, the travelling support, because they always take a good travelling support. I wish them well, and hopefully the cow pie is up to standard, because we did have a few wobbly cow pies.
Yes,
but back on form last year. So.
Oh, good. And I hope they don't turn blue.
Yeah,
the Blues.
Don't turn blue. But mind you, the weather is taking a turn for the cold, isn't it? Later in the week, I will be at training. I'm going to go and have get out my office and go for a wander with the cameras. I'm renting a lens because I'm trying not to take the big lens to Limerick because you get the, oh God, will it fit in the, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So I've hired a lens, which I'd quite like to try out before I head over there, which is much smaller. It's little, but it's big, powerful. It's very clever. It's a very clever lens. And hopefully that'll get me out of having to take my big bag that you normally see me with at games. With the monster.
Yes, gosh.
Here. Shall I go and get the monster?
Go and get, because it is huge. I nearly fell over it on Friday. That is big. That's big, isn't it? That is big.
Enormous. It is big, yeah. So I'm trying not to take it with me, which I won't take it with me regardless.
Yeah.
I could have done with it being a 3:00 kickoff because it would have made it really easy, but they just seem to like us at tea time over there.
They do.
So yes.
Yeah. Well, that'd be good. So busy weekend.
Should be fun.
Oh, and Toast at under nines.
Yeah.
I think they're playing ONs, I think. In North at ONs. I think so.
At ON. Big game. Big game. Well,
yes.
There you go. So that was episode 10 of the Ladies Wot. Look out for it on all the major podcasters.
Yes.
So it's not just YouTube now, folks.
No.
We can be in your ears when you're in the gym. And as Liz says, we're feeling fitter by the moment.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant if you could all take us to the gym or dog walking or whatever. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
And we'll
dog walking, any exercise we don't mind. Water skiing if you insist. Yeah. Anyway, have a good week, everybody.
Yes, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.